Hello and welcome back. We're the 24th of June today and I've had the morning off, just planning to go to work this afternoon. So I've done a bit of maintenance on the railway over the weekend there and just taking the chance to do a bit of hoovering and sort of dusting to try and keep things sort of nice and tidy. Well, as tidy as you can. Things do tend to get out of control and you try and dust one bit and you find a bit you haven't done for ages. So things are just dotted around the railway. Not necessarily in the right position. I've got various sort of tea towels lying over things to protect them from the sunlight. As you can see, we've just had some spectacular weather in the last few days. It is really very, very nice here in the north of England at the moment. So I've just had this out because I've been crawling across the railway and I've been doing a bit of maintenance on some track over there. So that's all good. But the weekend before, 15th, 16th of June, Father's Day weekend, there was a model railway show here in North Shields, and I picked up these coaches. I'll have a look at the footage from the show in a moment. So I don't know if you remember a little while ago we ran these coaches. I got these from Dave Angel last November. We ran them with the I'll get the words out in a moment. These Clerestory coaches, we ran them with the Caledonian single, but the ex-Caledonian, sorry. We look up there and see it's hiding in the box up on the shelf there. I'll put an insert picture. I'm getting all tied up in the words here. So that's a lovely maroon version of the Caledonian single. And I came away from Dave with two breaks. I didn't have the coaches. So I came across these at the trade stand at the Model Railway Show at the weekend. So I was quite pleased to find these. These have been in the back of my mind to find these for quite some time. I'm not entirely sure on the dates on these. I think they were available possibly over a peculiar period from the mid-80s into the 90s. I'm unsure that this style of box, again, I've not really come across before. So I've got a pair of coaches. So they have been opened. I don't think they've done a significant amount of track time. So definitely this style of boxes is fairly new to me, so they open quite nicely at that end. So I've got that pair, and I couldn't resist that. So I've got a couple of others of those. So I think they're making an interesting rig, making multiples of those. So I seem to have had that I'll get the words out, ex-Caledonian. I keep wanting to call it Caledonian single, ex-Caledonian running very recently. I thought we'd use it as an excuse to run this. Also came from Dave Angel back in November. I think at the time I showed this and said that this is in the wrong box, and I bought it purely because it's in a bit better condition than the one I already have. The varnish is away and peeling quite badly in the variant I already have, and what I've just realised is that this variant has plated wheels, whereas my original, which comes in its proper box but missing its cardboard sleeve, we'll get rid of the silica gel, you can see that. The varnish has all gone there. This one has standard plain wheels. It's not plated. So let's have a look at that. So that is R.52RS LMS 060 tank loco with smoke. So that is a smoking model. We'll have a glance over that. I'm just going to grab my notes because this model was also known as another number, R.452, I believe, as well. They were available from the early 70s, 71 to 74. I've got written on my notes. So this is definitely wrong instructions. This is for a Jinty, and it's in a Hornby Railways box, which is not necessarily wrong for the era, but somebody has scribbled it out on the end. So I thought we'd just use that as an excuse, and this will need a little bit of fiddling on the bench. So have a look at the footage. I've got one of my original brakes and one of the new coaches out of the box, so we can just have a quick look before we have a look over the engine. I think they're a lovely match. So just to see if we can have a quick look in underneath here. We've got all the usual stuff. We've got Hornby, made in England. So can we get some focus in there, down by where my thumb is? We can just get that a little bit closer there. And then we've got a number there, but I don't know what that is. It's an S number. Let's put one of these down. And which one have I got? Yeah, one of the new coaches. So we have got S5911 just under there. We can see that. So the wheels are really quite lovely. I suppose that's a sort of a minimal wobble in those, but then we are talking old-fashioned coaches here, and they will sort of wobble a little bit on the rails. But I think they're going to make a gorgeous rake. And we've seen that one before. So that's the brake, slightly different detailing. And I think I said before, I think these just run over from an early Triang Railways model. Have a look at the insert picture there, the GWR Clerestory coaches from the early 60s. So we'll pop those away and we'll whip this engine out of here. The paintwork is just a little worn from the top of the chimney there. We'll just have a quick look around it. It's got most of it gloss varnish on compared to that earlier one we saw in the box on the railway. It survives much better. The numbers on the front of the smoke box door. A little bit of loss to the paint on the buffer beam there. Let's see if we can get that in a little bit tighter. But I think I just couldn't resist it. It wasn't terribly much at the time. It just struck me as being in far better condition than the one that looked the original one, which I've got, which is all sort of quite scaly. And I hadn't noticed at the time that my original didn't have plated wheels. So I suppose the model may have started with just plain steel wheels and then been upgraded to plated later on. But let's whip the top off this. So I'll do my best to get the screw out of the side of it here without dropping the item. So I just realised now I should have probably picked up some tweezers before I started on this. Let's see how we do. Let's feel for the thread. Yeah, I think we're safely away there by the looks of it. I'm just going to tap that over to one side. And there we've got see if we can get some focus on that. A tiny little securing screw that runs through the side. And let's see if we can just ease that away and then unhook that there. So we'll just put the oily bit down and have a look over the rest of the bodywork. So if the camera's going to cooperate and get some return to focusing. It seems rather reluctant to do so. Is it going to play? There, we've come back. So we looked over that before. Let's see if I can get it to hold the focus when we look on the inside. So it's all fairly clean, isn't it? Not too much oil splatter at all, in fact, just a little bit dusty. Hopefully encourage the camera to stay with us now. We've got Hornby in there and R.52. There we have it. And then we've got made in England just along the bottom there. Metal buffers pushed into the buffer beam. So we'll pop that down in a place of safety over there, and we'll grab the the bit that's a little bit more oily and have a quick look over that. So it looks in fairly nice condition. Doesn't look like it's been messed around with. The armature seems to turn relatively freely. Let's just have a quick look under there. I don't know whether we can see in there. So that looks particularly dirty, the commutator, so I think that's going to benefit from a bit of a clean. So if I don't need to dismantle it fully, I'm not going to. Let's see if we can get in focus in there. Yeah, so that is very black, isn't it? I imagine the slots are very filled up with carbon deposit. And yeah, So the screw doesn't seem to be too loose in there. So I don't know whether this does smoke. So let's just whip the top off the smoke unit there and have a look inside and see if the fuse, the fuse is in there, and I would say that that's probably never had any fluid on it, and I think what I'm going to do is take the opportunity of removing that. So I'm never really going to run this quick enough to make smoke from it, and I think we'll just simplify matters, perhaps even just remove that just to reduce the friction a little bit. But yeah, I'll just grab the fly leads here and then we'll see if we can get some power on it. Pop the power on the controller. We'll grab that, and then let's see if we can add some power there. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's going to be a great deal better. The smell coming off that obviously hasn't run in years. It's an amazing smell on the electric motor there. So it seems to have become a little bit uncooperative. There we go. Yeah, it's very, very dry. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a bit of a clean up. You can see the magnet behind the drive wheel at the back there. So it's going to definitely have some stick to the track plastic drive gear on the centre wheel there. Let's just grab another screwdriver and see if we can see how. I'm frantically looking around there. Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with that magnet. That's got plenty of stick. There we go. So I'll get that cleaned up, and we'll get it on the rails. It's actually a couple of days later now. I've got that on the rails. It's another really bright and sunny day. It's just burning away the sunshine. A little bit of cloud this morning, but it's amazing weather for the northeast of England. All right, let's give this a little bit of power. We'll send this backwards, and then a little forward. So I have gone ahead and removed that wheel that drives the piston, which makes the synchro smoke work. I put the little bits and pieces and the smoke fuse in a bag in the box, so if I want to make this smoke at a later date, we'll be able to sort of reinstate it. But I think that's going to be quite nice like that. Let's go further round. Makes a slightly different noise in either direction. So if I just stop that before the points there. I wonder how many of these chassis they made. Must have been quite a few over the years. So they used it in numerous models. So let's back that up and see if we can just grab hold of these coaches. There we have it. So I've got the 4 of those coaches on there. I've got the 2 existing brakes that I had. Although maybe I've put that one on the wrong way around. We'll not worry about it at this stage. I don't know whether they are very slightly different colours in this bright light, or whether I'm just imagining that as just the way you catch it. And there's one of the original brake. At that angle it looks darker than the rest. Still, let's just pull that out onto the line and we'll have a quick look over it. So absolutely effortless. And I think one of those coaches doesn't have its original wheels on. Somebody's put some much finer scales on it, but I'll have to come up with a set of silver seal type wheels to replace it, I think. But last time I was running these, it performed really, really nicely. There we go, top all back on. We'll just give that a little power. We'll run forwards and see how it sounds with the top one. Still impressively silent. I don't know whether silent is a word you can use to. Oh, it definitely has a bit more of a growl going backwards, doesn't it? So it wasn't quite as pronounced as that with the top off. So let's run that lot forward now. We'll go around behind the turntable. Let's just come back a little wider so we can get the full effect. So looking pretty good. See if we can get some interesting angles of this coming around the railway. You're going to have to remember to stop because I've just remembered I didn't close this set of points around here. There we go. Let's close that one. Get the right switch, so we want to go straight with that. So next time around we'll come over to the outside line. So if I just reach over there, we'll make that one curved. And if I swing back over here, we'll make that one curved as well. I think everything else will be set to come around to the station. Let's have a quick check. As I say, this morning I find myself with time off, and I cleaned up the locomotive in the last day or so, and I just never got around to either running or getting a chance to make any video. So it all becomes quite time consuming. So let's run that around to the station now. All encouraging so far. I can't hear anything else moving in the background. You tend to lose track of what you've done over several days. I think we'll go closer this time through here because we were really far back last time. Over the diamond. Camera gets heavy when you point down like that. I should be using two hands to do that. So you will run past the tunnel. And around it goes. Smoothly up to the station. There we go. Let's see if we can just uncouple. Well, that uncoupling ramp is not a convincing angle, is it there? It's stuck down at that side. Yeah, that's more impressive. Impressive is the wrong word. That looks more practical, I think, is the word I was looking for. Let's roll forward. And I wonder whether those newer style couplings are going to play. There we go. So we'll roll forwards again. And I think just for fun, we'll come around, we'll turn the locomotive. And pick them up from the other end. So it's pointless having all these things if you don't have a play with them occasionally. So we'll switch those points. Ooh, wrong direction. And we'll energize that. So I've got an isolating rail there, which is what I've just made live. So otherwise it's going to come to a stop as it drives through there. So. Roughly the middle of the turntable. And if I reach for the button, ear defenders on. There we have it. So remember to turn the controller in the opposite direction. Just switch that point that's sitting under the Lord westward. So we want to go straight with that. And I'm going to back around the railway now and pick those coaches up from the other end. So there's one more point to remember, isn't there? Because we've just swapped through from the inside to the outside. Under the canopy. So I think, ooh, something went amiss there. It's sounded like it's jumped the rails. I haven't had any problems with things jumping the rails there. Let's just have a look down here. I suppose I have got quite a rail gap there, but it's not been an issue with anything else. Let's try that again. Yeah, it doesn't like that rail gap. Oh, I might have to make an adjustment to that. So you can see I've got a bit of a gap there. I'll try and knock that rail along a bit later on and shuffle it and see what we can do with that. So I was about to change that point. So we'll go. Got the right switch, so we want to go straight with that. And let's bring that locomotive. Yeah, so that's what you get with playing with this older track. There's going to be little hiccups here and there. There we go, we have those. Now it's nagging me that I haven't changed another point. But actually no, maybe it's the green one. Let's see if we can just come over. Yeah, much nicer behaviour that way around. Well, let's get a gentle stop at the station. But I think that's about it for this time. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the footage from the show. If you look back again next time, we'll have something else interesting to look at. So I've just adjusted the rail gap by tapping the rail along a little bit. So I haven't completely closed it up because it opens one up at the other end. You can chase these gaps all the way around, but I've done a fairly good job of sort of evening them out. Sorry, I can't speak. So I said I haven't really had any problems with anything jumping the rails there before. Maybe it is just this particular model, and the spacing on the wheels, the back-to-back, seem to work superbly well on everything else. So I don't really want to fiddle with the back-to-back. So that all looks quite nice now. We'll just run that back through there one last time. I think we'll just grab those coaches and bring them back to the station. I must put the tunnel and the signal box back in the right place. But again, thank you again for watching. Goodbye now.